Last year, I took a look at the Brazilian Street Fighter 2 series, the Brazilian Street Fighter Alpha 3 series, and the Brazilian Mortal Kombat series. Well, now, we're taking a trip around the world from Brazil to Greece. Because boy, did we ever just unearth some very interesting skeletons in their closets, with Doom Memories from Hell. Doom Memories from Hell is a 3-issue comic book miniseries created in 1998 and released exclusively in Greece. The problem is that only the first issue was ever released, leaving the story incomplete. Not only that, but the comic came bundled as part of a Greek gaming magazine called Games. And yes, that name made googling for this magazine way more difficult than it should be. Now, it's currently unconfirmed as to whether or not this comic book series is officially licensed or not by id Software, but considering some of the offensive content in here, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no. I should also point out that this comic book series was never translated into English until July of 2023, when a Twitter user by the name of Sweet Shark took it upon himself to translate the comic book into English and released it for free on his itch.io page. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. One thing that caught my eye in this comic book is how frankly hideous the art style is. I mean, just look at it. This is, without a doubt, the ugliest comic book series I've ever seen, and I kinda love it, to be honest. It's so ugly that it kind of goes around the spectrum and wraps itself back around into becoming interesting again. The faces are extremely amateurish and yet somehow still expressive, and the backgrounds are either simplistic, a single color, and sometimes not even that. And to be fair, the poor art could be forgiven if the story were any good. But no, it's extremely basic and at the same time hard to follow, because the sequential storytelling is as amateurish as the art itself. Oh, but don't worry, because apparently the creators think that they can make up for this with excessive violence, swearing, and at one point having one of the villains use a racially charged word that I refuse to use. I even asked the translator about this instance, and they told me that yes, in the original comic language, the villain said the Greek equivalent to this word, and that they weren't really sure if they should keep it or remove it. But in the end, they decided to keep it, to maintain the translation true to the original dialogue. And I was also informed that apparently Greek gaming magazines back then were, kinda hardcore, to be honest, often having full-on nudity just to sell more issues. I wish I could give you more interesting background information on this comic, but the truth is, there is zero information about it on the internet. All of my attempts at finding more information on this comic only resulted in the infamous E3 Doom comic book. And it seems that even within the Greek gaming community, this little incomplete miniseries is mostly forgotten. I mean, the Doom wiki doesn't even mention its existence. And any and all background information I could find on this had to come from the translator himself. So yeah, if you have any additional information on this comic book series, please be sure to leave a comment. So with all of this out of the way, let's take a look at Doom Memories from Hell. The comic opens with a really well-drawn cover of the Doom guy and his squad mate, who is an original character created for this story. And as far as I can tell, he doesn't actually have a name. Like I said, the plot in this comic book is basic, but at the same time, really hard to follow. I should also point out that this cover was commissioned by the translator and is by far the prettiest thing in this comic. Believe me, it's all downhill from here. We begin with Doom Guy hugging a wall and firing at imps. He leans down to take a closer look and is shocked by their appearance, not understanding what they even are. He then sees a bright light in the distance, and as he approaches it, he sees a cyber demon ordering his minions to bring all prisoners to a teleporter. Doom Guy states how imposing the cyber demon's voice is before deciding to take action and attack them. And the weird thing is that we don't see the cyber demon anymore. We see a few imps go down, but the cyber demon is just not shown or mentioned anymore. Did he teleport away? Did Doomguy defeat him? I don't know. You see what I mean about amateurish sequential art? Doomguy then hears some shots in the distance and assumes reinforcements have arrived and rushes in their direction, though the art makes it look more like he's taking a hop and a skip instead of sprinting. He then finds a squad of Marines, which includes the other Marine from the cover, though I think the art is telling me that he's unconscious and that Doomguy heard his shots before. It's here that we get our first named character, Captain Flint, who leads the squad. Yeah, I've been calling him Doomguy because we never got his name. And in fact, we never will get his name. Anyway, we also learned that Doomguy is a rookie, and that the Marine squad wastes no time in reminding him of this. The captain tells him that Doomguy was supposed to have been inspecting the perimeter, before our hero interrupts him and replies that he disobeyed orders because he heard screaming in the background. The captain replies that it's a shame he disobeyed orders, because that means the squad of demons they sent to find him are probably still searching for Doomguy. The other friendly Marine from the cover then warns Doomguy that the squad has already led 3 platoons to their doom. Upon hearing this, Doomguy threatens to dispatch Captain Flint, telling him that he can either shoot him or leave with the other Marine in tow. The captain lets Doomguy go with his newfound buddy, though Flint muses, wondering how far Doomguy can go while carrying a wounded soldier. The wounded soldier says the captain is right and that Doomguy should leave him and save himself. But our hero is having none of that. He then fires at a door, locking it behind him, so that Captain Flint and his squad won't follow them. Captain Flint orders his squad to take the long way around and chase after them. Sometime later, the friendly Marine seems to be feeling better and Doomguy asks him if he knows what happened. The friendly soldier replies, "Man, they really couldn't give him a name?" That his memory is a little hazy, but he recalls that they were sent to investigate whatever was going on in the base. And side note, is it me or is this face hilarious? Anyway, they were sent to investigate when one of the squad mates called Scar says he feels though they're walking into a trap. The captain then suggests the squad split up and cover more ground, when suddenly the lights go out and they're ambushed by the forces of hell. The friendly soldier was able to turn the lights back on and fought his way out. Also, I gotta pause for a quick second and say that, man, there isn't a single ounce of energy in this art. I mean, look at it! I get that it's trying to convey that the dude swung his weapon while firing at imps, but the way it's drawn, it just looks like he fired a shockwave from his chest. Anyway, the soldier escaped, but found himself trapped in total darkness yet again. Then the lights turned back on and... I don't quite know what I'm looking at. Maybe you can help me out, because I literally have no idea what the art is trying to convey here. Okay, so we have a close-up of the soldier's face as the lights go on. Then we see a soldier in the distance saying damn, a Cacodemon demon to the side, and lots of people on the left. Am I the only one completely lost here? Whatever, I'll just keep going. Then we have another close-up of the friendly Marine with some flames behind him. And then we have some soldiers walking his direction saying sadly none have survived. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what happened here, but I think that once the dude turned on the lights, he saw the captain leading an army of imps and cacodemons. And so he ran, and now there's ex-squad mates walking right up to him. But again, I don't know, this is way too confusing. So the friendly soldier jumps at one of the other soldiers before they can spot him. Then, I'm not sure. He says they shot in all directions, but I'm not even sure what the art is attempting to convey here. Then the soldier tried to crawl away, I guess? And then the infamous line comes up, as Captain Flint insults the Marine, and then I don't understand if he's calling him a traitor or if he's referring to his own squad and just refers to them as traitors. And if it's the latter, who does that? Who the heck calls his own friendly forces traitors even though they were just double agents? Man, this comic feels like it was written by an edgy 14-year-old. Anyway, the captain then looks back, hearing shots in the distance, likely from Doomguy when he fought against a cyber demon. The wounded marine then tries to take out a shotgun, but the captain kicks him before he can fire. The comic then seems to do a small recap, almost as if this were a second issue, but as far as I know, it was all a single release. But basically, Doomguy recaps the plot so far in how things have been going awry ever since they set foot in this base. How Captain Flint sold them out to demons, and how Doomguy and his unarmed buddy are the only survivors, while he holds out for hope that Scar, or maybe even Scar's squad, might still be alive. We then continue the flashback sequence with Doomguy's friend, saying that it was at that point when Doomguy showed up and saved them from Captain Flint. Suddenly, Doomguy gasps in shock as he sees a cacodemon creep up behind them, screaming that it's not possible, and then warns his buddy to get away from there. His friend drops to the floor and picks up a chain gun, though the art is... man, I don't even know anymore. Doomguy fires at a cacodemon, but I think a second cacodemon appears and hits him in the back, propelling Doomguy onto the ground. Suddenly, his friend fires at the cacodemon, telling Doomguy to stay down. The encounter ends with Doomguy asking him what took him so long while making this face. Man, maybe it's just me, but this face is hilarious for some reason. Someone please make a meme out of this. With his friend then replying that he was a little busy, as he points at another cacodemon melted onto the floor. So I think there were 3 cacodemons, but I'm honestly not sure. You could have told me there was just one, and I would have believed you. Because even though there's basically no plot, it's so hard to follow what is even going on. I will at least say that I like how they're using the chain gun from the game, and how the cacodemon melted onto the ground really does reflect what we see in the games. It's pretty clear whoever made this was a big fan of the games. It's just that, well, that does not necessarily translate into a good comic book. Having surpassed this ordeal, Doomguy asks what's their next move, and the other guy suggests that they head out towards the communications building, but neither of them knows the way. But Doomguy's buddy says Sergeant Charlie, a soldier with glasses from the traitor squad, should know how to get there. The two then discuss how they're going to take out a squad when they're outnumbered, but both settle on the need to reach Charlie, as he apparently has a map of the installation. You know, now that I think about it, it's actually quite funny how the game keeps treating all the other Marines as normal human beings who simply sold out to the forces of hell. I know it's easy for me to say this now because we have access to the internet and wikis, but I'm guessing that the writers behind this comic did not know that the humans in Doom are known as former humans. Essentially, they're zombies and reanimated soldiers. They're not really normal human beings by any stretch of the imagination. But I suppose when you're playing a game on a PC with no other context, you probably wouldn't know that. I know I wouldn't. So as a result, we get this plotline with Captain Flint and his goons. Anyway, we then jump back to Earth, where we see a scientist speaking to a Marine, telling him that they're also sending him to the base on Mars and that the situation there is confusing, and that they're teleporting him to the base. And I gotta say, the way he's drawn makes me think that maybe this is Doomguy, and that up until now, we've just been following two randos on Mars. Sadly though, there's no way of knowing because it's honestly hard enough to follow the plot as it is. I'll still keep referring to our protagonist as Doomguy though. Also, if they can just teleport soldiers to Mars, then why don't they just teleport the whole army over there to get the situation under control? Sending a lone soldier over there seems ill-advised. But hey, whatever, that's the least of this comic's problems. We now jump back to Charlie and Captain Flint, and we learn that even though Charlie has a map, it doesn't look like he's a very good navigator, because the whole squad is now lost and the various Marines start bickering with one another. Charlie tells them that they've reached their destination, a door which was the long way around to reach Doomguy and his buddy. And as they get there, they find that Doomguy and the other dude were already waiting for the squad. And once again, I'm a little lost, so I'll try to best explain this as I can. Captain Flint orders the squad to get them. We then see two different panels with characters posing with their guns, and then what we assume is Captain Flint's squad chasing after them. But then we see Doom Guy and his buddy looking at three possible doors and asking where they went. Wait, I thought Doom Guy was the one being chased. Why is the dialogue being presented as though they were the ones chasing and lost track of Captain Flint's squad? You see what I mean with this having a bare bones plot while still being hard to follow? Then they find Charlie on the floor, but the map is gone and Captain Flint orders the rest of the squad to find them before they leave the building. Didn't he just order them that like 5 minutes ago? Why is he giving the same order again? Never mind, we're almost done with this anyway. And then Captain Flint implies that Doom Guy's friend knows more than he lets on. We then jump back to Doom Guy as they apparently evaded Flint's squad. Doom Guy asks his friend why he didn't just dispatch Charlie, seeing as how he was already down. Oh, so I guess Charlie was just unconscious. I thought a demon got him. Well, whatever. And Doom Guy's friend replies that the gunfire would have attracted Flint and his squad. But he also ends his reasoning with "give it a rest," which does indeed imply that the dude is hiding something. The two then decide on their next move, and Doom Guy's buddy asks if they should leave the building. They then look at the map. Wait a minute, they have the map? Wait, so it wasn't Doom Guy and the other dude who found Charlie on the floor? I am so confused. Okay, let's back it up a bit. I thought that these two were our heroes, but apparently they were Flint's goons and the map is missing because Doom Guy has it now. Man, I know at this point you can make a drinking game out of how many times I've said the plot is simple and yet hard to follow, but jeez. Anyway, Doom Guy's buddy says that the Mars base is filled with autonomous buildings, research centers, toxic wastes, and secret passages. But after that, they should find the communications center, where in theory they will find the others. And I'm guessing by others, they mean Scar and his squad. But this is honestly the first time they've stated that that's the reason that they're even going there in the first place. So once again, if you're making a drinking game out of how many times I've complained that this comic is hard to follow, now's a good time to take a swig. Doom Guy hears the plan and then asks that if Oscar guides them back to the spaceship, if they'll talk. Wait, who the heck is Oscar? This is literally the first time I've heard that name in this comic. And so the two decide on this plan and move out, while someone is listening to them from the shadows. And that's it. This is where the comic ends. And that's a good thing too, because I don't think I could take much more of this. Like I said, this was supposed to be a 3-part miniseries, but only the first issue ever came out. And man, this is so not good. This is honestly the worst comic book I've ever read in my life. It's ugly, the plot is super simple and basic but still hard to follow, there's almost no focus on the demons, and instead it's all about Doom Guy. At least I think that's Doom Guy and the squad of marine traders. And have I mentioned how horrendously ugly this all is? This is, without a doubt, the Room of comics. The Plan 9 of outer space of comics. It's so bad, so inept, so amateurish in every regard that I kinda love it. The more I read it, the more I'm left scratching my head as to how this thing ever came to be, and how it could fail on every conceivable level. I think the only positive thing here is that you do see the chain gun, imps, cacodemons, and even a cyber demon. So it does feel like whoever made this was at least a fan of the games. But man, this is just so irredeemable. And I only recommend you check it out if you're the type of person who enjoys absolute train wrecks in media. Now, if you do want to check out the comic, you can find the PDF with the translation for free on itch.io. And in fact, I'd like to thank Sweet Shark for not only translating and publishing this comic for free, but also for taking the time to answer my questions. Still, if you're a massive Doom fan, I say check it out, if for no other reason than to witness this beautiful train wreck. In the meantime, I'd like to thank all my Patreon supporters, including my newest backers, Chris Coplian, Cushion Sepp, and Mika Cohen. Thank you for helping make the channel better. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, Bye!